I'm excited to have someone I've never met before and I don't know too much about. So it's always interesting because this Body and Soul Expo just keeps introducing me and Lorin to the most interesting, experienced, knowledgeable people. And it's even more exciting when I don't know anything about them and we can find out you and I together at the same time. So, Warran Grajalez, is that right?
That is right.
Okay. Thanks so much for being with us. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the Expo podcast. Warran, tell us a little bit about you, even where you were, where you came from, and how what you did as maybe a younger person is affecting you, and how it brought you to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure and it's an honor being a part of the Body and Soul Expo. You and your wife, I mean, just great people and just so kind. So it was like almost like I'd known someone, she was so easy to talk to. But
Thank you. Thank you.
so I was born in Belize and moved over to Sarasota, Florida. So just right on the other coast, and I grew up there. And I've always had a passion for health. I always wanted to be a doctor. And obviously, as I grew up, I was a cross country runner. Parents always ate pretty healthy and just not knowing much. I was always curious. I think every kid is, they're always asking questions, why this, why that. But what always interested me was the human body, right? I always love seeing sports athletes, and I'm like, man, how are they doing this? Like I want to know what they're doing, and what are they eating? How are they sleeping? And as you grow up, everybody told you your doctors would always say the same thing, like eat healthy, drink lots of water, get lots of sleep, and just do the normal things that you're supposed to do. Well, and then I was a cross country runner, and then I ended up applying for PT school, and then I wanted to go into a med school, and then I was confused, and my dad dropped out of school at second grade. My mom didn't finish high school. And so I honestly did not know much about school, going to apply for all these scholarships. And thankfully, that, from the Lord, that I got a full paid scholarship to go run cross country in undergrad. So I did that and I got my exercise science degree. So then I was trying to apply, and then I was like, man, I don't know what to do. And then one of my friends was like, hey, why don't you try chiropractic? And then, I was like, I had no idea what chiropractic is. And all right, then I went there and they sold me with the philosophy. And I'll always go to this day and say, I'm upset that the philosophy got me, but I'm also happy that it did at the same time. So it's just this battle that I have, I think even if I went to DO school and medical school, I think I would still be doing what I'm doing because I appreciate the philosophy of our body doesn't make mistakes. That, that the only now there are very, very limited times where, yes, that we've got genes that express certain things that we can't fix. And thank God for medicine, right? I thank God for doctors that we have them there. But also I look at the human body as saying, well, a majority of the reason why we're so sick and unhealthy is because of our own doings, the things that we eat, the simple things that we were told from a young age: eat, sleep, drink, hydrate. And I think we've just pulled so far away from that. And I just recently got married and I haven't seen my grandma in a long time, and she's 90 years old. And she gets up and walks in the morning and she's always cooking. And, I was just like, man, like, and as I was entering into, being a chiropractic physician, I started asking her, I was that curious kid again. And I was like, abuelita, like grandma, like, how are you like still like up and going? Like you're about to turn 91. And then she's just like, man, like, and she, my mom's there. She's like, I keep telling your mom, like, she eats like crap and she doesn't know that like herbs are like good, and she's like, look at her putting all the makeup on her face and like all those things are so toxic. And she's 90 years old. And then I'm like, man, like, how do you know? And then she's like, do you not remember when we were younger, you would get sick? Like, you would only get sick for a bit because we'd make sure that we're putting in like healthy food in for you. We would be doing turmeric, garlic, and we were doing onion soup and all these other things. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, and I like looking back, I'm like, you're right. We never got sick.
Wow.
And then, and then I was just kind of putting it out to, and it was just like a, a full circle moment where I was like, man, like clearly there is something beautiful about both medical and even a chiropractic philosophy. I don't think chiropractic is the end all be all, and I know it's not because I've been doing it, but I look at the body as a whole. And there's with what I do is the wellness way. We call it the three T's, and the three T's that causes dis hyphen ease, not disease, but dis hyphen ease, right? Or we're almost a disease, and it's thoughts, trauma, and toxins. And that's what causes us to be in dis hyphen ease. So then I think, well, all right, well, how can we understand what's triggering us? Thoughts could be trauma and it could be toxins. Are we putting the right things in our body? Right? Are we thinking the right things? Because stress is a killer, right? And then trauma, if you get hit, car accident, all these things can exacerbate on your body. And that's where the mentality of the, chiropractic philosophy, but understanding the body's physiology. And that's why I believe I'm thriving at and is my curiosity with physiology. I want to know how the gut works, right? I want to know the chemical reactions between the bicarbonate and why we get hydrochloric acid. Like I can nerd out but these are the stuff that I want to know because I want to know not symptomatically, oh, just take this. So then you get better. I want to know what's triggering them, right? And I think that's the approach that I want people to understand that that's what the Wellness Way Jupiter does. I want to tell people we don't guess, we test. I want you to understand and I want myself to understand this is the reason why you're getting bloating. This is the reason why you're getting blow ups with your RA. I will never say I cure anything. I can only support your body, right? And after 30 years, 40 years of us eating bad foods and all that, it's people expect the holistic way to fix them up immediately. But it doesn't work like that, right? I always tell people this. I was like, you're at the wrong place if you think and I think our herbs are great and our supplements are great, but I tell them there is no herb or supplement that will ever beat medicine. And I said, this is a full body approach. I said, this is a different approach. I said, I am going to meet you where you're at. This is going to be food. This is going to be food triggers. This is going to be understanding your hormone tests. And that's like, this is a full approach rather than knowing, hey, what's the symptom? This right here is, hey, what is triggering me to get these symptoms? And that's the approach that I bring to the Wellness Way Jupiter.
Fantastic. I mean, that's why you're going to fit in so beautifully with the expo because you're going to be in two ballrooms full of people that are approaching health and well-being, the same way, each differently. And I just hope that you get a chance to walk around, bring some help with you. Don't come alone. Don't even come with one person because you got 2 full days and you got to bring maybe two, three, four people with you so that you get a chance to walk around and meet these incredible vendors and exhibitors. But a couple of things I want to go back to. Is Grandma still in Belize?
Grandma is still in Belize.
Now, did Lorin tell you we spent 9 years in an island closest to Belize than any place else?
She did, and she told me that's when you guys got the little girl. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That was yeah, that's why I was saying like I felt like I knew her because she's just like, no way, Belize. She's like, me and my husband stay there, and she said that you are the main radio broadcaster.
Yeah, I was the first and only English speaking TV and radio guy there for 8 years, 9 years. It was a beautiful experience and really was a high point in my life because there's nothing better than kind of doing what we're both doing now, which is affecting as many people as we can in a positive way. And I did a lot of great things on the radio and on English radio and television there on Roatan. So tell me a little bit about how and you really explained it beautifully. But when someone comes to your booth, or and they don't know what to expect, uh, what can they expect when they come to your space at the expo?
Yeah, so at the expo, what I'm gonna have is I'm gonna have actual patients and I'm gonna have the tests that we do because we do hormone testing, stool testing, and we do blood work along with O tests. But a way that I want to show people is where their health is at because some people take supplements, they pay expensive supplements, they eat the organic foods, and I go, hey, let's scan you real quick, and in 15 seconds, I'll get your antioxidants reading right there. This will tell
Wow.
me if you are as healthy as you're saying, or if those supplements are even working. And I think that's where a lot of people get confused, or even like the holistic way ends up being a bad rep for true health, right? Because it's easy to sell supplements, but you never know what you're getting in those supplements. And in 15 seconds, I can explain to someone like, yes, you know what? You are eating well, or actually, no, you need more support. And that's a way that you can get a nice scope into your own health. Dr. Oz, who's a medical doctor, FDA approved, has the biggest research on this. And in 15 seconds, you put your finger on it and you get your reading right away.
Wow.
I'm that right there for the patients. And then I'm going to show them like, well, this is why, right? Because where does all absorption and digestion happen? In the gut. If the gut's not good, you think you can have the most expensive supplements, you can eat the best organic foods, but if you're not absorbing it well, do you think you'll be able to get all the vitamins that you need?
Wow.
No. So that's the approach that I want to give people. It's just like you can be taking everything what you want, but if we don't take a full body approach, you're just wasting your money on these expensive supplements. You need to know how your body is working. That's why the whole we don't guess, we test comes into play in the Wellness Way Jupiter. And that's what I'll have.
It sounds brilliant, man. I just love. Where you located?
Yeah, I'm right across of Jupiter Medical Center.
Okay,
Yeah.
very
So
good.
210, yep,
Off
210.
military? Off military?
That's right. By Tony Pena.
Okay,
Yeah.
very
I
good.
mean, right across. I can grab a supplement bottle and then probably hit the hospital right now.
Okay. So also, I'm sure with all your knowledge that you've gathered, I'm sure that you'll be speaking at the expo. Would I be right?
Yes, absolutely.
And tell us what you'll be speaking about.
It's just an approach to inflammation. Inflammation is a term that's used, everywhere, and it almost seems like it's a marketing tool, but I don't want it to be a marketing tool. I want it to be a informational tool, and I want people to understand what inflammation is. I believe that you can take every doctor, you can take a chiropractor, you can take a dentist, you can take a cardiologist, you can take a rheumatologist, and at the base of everything, I think we can all agree, regardless of who you think is a good doctor, who's a quack, who's qualified or not, we can all agree the start to disease happens with inflammation. So that's what I want to talk to people about. And it's just an approach. And this is what right here is what I'm going to tell people. We got the fireman, which is the medical approach, and we got the carpenter, which is the wellness way approach, right? God forbid you go back to your house. I always tell people this, right? And then your house is on fire. Who are you going to call, Bruce?
Not the carpenter.
Not the carpenter. You're calling the fireman. But if let's say if your dentist shows up with his little hose right there trying to help out, would you not look at that guy and say, "What is this idiot doing here?"
Right, right.
Right? He's not the man for the job. But the fireman puts your house out and he's going to look back and say, "Man, I did a good job. I saved it before the house got burnt down completely." Now, Bruce, even if your house is burnt down and maybe some very emotional pictures were got caught up in the fire, what would you say to the fireman?
Hey, come on.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Come on
You'd say
over.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, thank you for saving it. The carpenter goes into your house because they need to rebuild that house. What do you think that carpenter is going to go? What do you think that carpenter is going to say when he goes inside your house?
You got a lot of work to do.
What a mess, right? What a mess. So then I tell people that's the medical approach, right? You go in because you're having heart problems and all that. If I showed up there, people would look at me and say, what is this chiropractor doing here? Get this idiot out of here. And I'll say, you know what? You're absolutely right. I do not belong there. But once you've seen the doctor and you're saying, man, well, I want to know what's causing my problems to come in, that's when I come in. That's when I go, okay, well, we have to rebuild this house because how many more times are you going to keep getting your house watered and put out? Your house is going to become weaker, and then you're going to require more medications, and you're going to require more hospital visits, then you're going to go more doctor visits. But at some point, we have to switch the approach and say, well, why don't we start rebuilding your house so it's stronger? So you don't have to go as much. And I'm not saying you don't have to go to the medical system at all, because I think this is great. I think there's a time and place for everything. But you also got to help yourself and rebuild your body. And that's what I'm going to be talking there at the expo. I want people to understand what inflammation is, what we do, our approach, and it's different from functional medicine. Even though I practice functional medicine, the good part is men tend to be easier than women in this way, that once they're in, sugar's a man's worst, you know, enemy right there. Sugar is the biggest thing that I think men just do too much that causes a lot of their issues. Now, what makes men difficult is that they don't want to come in, right? So I think there's a joke that I think Chris Rock said, like he's just like, women are so good at taking care of their body, that's why they live longer, because they go, oh, something's wrong with me, then they go and get guidance care for whichever doctor they want to. A man, our guidance is we talk to another man and they go, hey man, did you have this problem? And he goes, yeah, I had this problem. And he goes, how did you end up being? He's like, I ended up being fine. That's our doctor right there, right? That's men for you. But what makes women a little bit more difficult is stress and an emotional, right? The thoughts. And that's a whole different piece of the picture that we have to look at. So much happens there, and I think people overlook the gut. And one of your most important symptom based um, things that come up are from your gut, change of bowel habits, random stomach pain. I think those are more symptoms that people should be aware about. They should be getting checked on, right? Colorectal cancers surging in people my age at 27. I mean, it's unbelievable where it's just like, why is it increasing, right? And it's something that's sad, but there's signs and symptoms that you have to know, right? Blood in the stool, like changes of bowel habits, random bloating after every meal. And that's your body signaling, right? It's a sign of inflammation that your body's one, giving you like, hey, something's going on, and two, to go get some help. I don't have all the answers, but like I told you, there's a reason why we have a fireman and a carpenter, and that's why we should be working coinciding, right?
That's great, Warren. Beautiful advice. I really admire your knowledge and your desire to learn more and more, and it's going to help a lot of people in the future. And I also love the idea of you being part of the Body and Soul Expo family. And we're just going to have a great, great event. And I look forward to meeting you in person. And again, coming down and having you kind of look at this little area here, if not more areas that show up. So thanks again for being on, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I'm excited to see everyone May 9th and 10th at the Body and Soul Expo.
Beautiful. God bless. See you soon. Bye bye now.